Okay, so today we're going to talk about angles in triangles. So make sure you put that at the top of your page and put today's date in the top right corner. A huge concept here is the triangle sum theory. And basically what that means is you have a triangle and all of the angles add up to 180 degrees. Okay? So if this is x, y, and z, we always know that x plus y plus z is 180 degrees. That is the triangle sum theory. Sum means add up, right? So triangle sum theory. That's what we're going to be working on today, using that to work on finding missing angles and things like that. Okay, so write down these definitions and sketch the triangles. You don't have to put the angles in the triangles, but just sketch them. The first one is acute triangle. It has 3 acute angles. Remember, acute angles less than 90 degrees. So we have 1 acute angle, 2 acute angle, 3 acute angles, right? That's important. 3 acute angles. Now a right triangle, some people might think, oh, it has 3 right angles. Well, a right angle is 90 degrees, and if you have 3 90-degree angles, that'd be 270 degrees, and that's way too big to be a triangle according to triangle sum theory. So a right triangle has 1 right angle. 1 right angle, okay? All right, and an obtuse triangle has 1 obtuse angle. Now, it can't even have 2 obtuse angles, because remember, an obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees, so if you have 2 obtuse angles, the smallest obtuse angle you can have is 91 degrees, so if you had 2 of them, that'd be 182. That's too big, according to the triangle sum theory, which says all the angles have to add up to equal 180. Okay, moving on. So, let's find x in the acute triangle. Well, I know that all the angles add up to 180, right? So let's just write an equation. 42 plus 63 plus x equals 180, because all triangles add up to 180. So let's combine like terms. 42 plus 63 is 105, plus x equals 180. Now it's just a really easy equation, right? Minus 105 minus 105, x is equal to 75 degrees. And you could double check by adding up all of those angles. Now, let's find y in this right triangle for number 2. Here's the deal. When we see this box, we know that that's 90 degrees, right? So we can say 37 plus 90 plus y equals 180. Remember, they're all equal to 180 when you add them up, because that's the triangle sum theory. All triangles are 180 degrees in 2 dimensions. All right, 37 plus 90 is 127 plus y equals 180. Minus 127 minus 127. Y is going to equal 53 degrees. And if you put that in there, 53 plus 37 plus 90, that's 180 degrees. All right, how about this? Find z in the obtuse triangle. So again, they all add up to 180. So we have 13 plus 62 plus z equals 180. 13 plus 62 is 75, plus z equals 180. Subtract 75, subtract 75. Z is going to equal 105 degrees. Let's see if is that reasonable? Well, isn't z an obtuse angle? Look at this. Isn't it an obtuse angle? And isn't 105 an obtuse angle? Makes sense. All right. You should have drawn all of those, and you should have done all the work, okay? You will not get credit for your notes if you do not draw them and fill in the degrees and do the work with the equations. And just so that I know you're paying attention, I want you to write the word awesome right underneath number 3. Awesome. All right, moving on. Equal, so 3 more definitions. Equilateral triangle. has 3 congruent sides and 3 congruent angles. Remember, congruent is the geometry term for equal. Okay? And it's important to say that it has 3 congruent sides and 3 congruent angles, because all these sides are the same. Like this is 3, 3, and 3. And then all these angles are exactly the same. Okay? And an isosceles triangle has at least 2 congruent sides and 2 congruent angles. So same kind of thing, except 2 of them. And if you notice, these 2 are the same, and this one is different. And the way we show that is by using little hash marks, okay? Like that. That says that those are equal. Just like up here, we could do that and say those 2 are all congruent, rather. And scalene triangle has, it should say, no congruent sides and no congruent angles. No congruent sides and no congruent angles. And notice, none of these are the same, right? None of the angles, none of the sides are the same. That's scalene. So you guys know these. You still have to write them down. You know them. But what's going to be hard is when we don't know some of the angles. So these next are going to be pretty tough. Number 4, find the angle measure in the equilateral triangle. Well, again, they all add up to 180. In this instance, it's equilateral. That means they're all the same. So it's m plus m plus m is 180 degrees. M plus m plus m, that's 3 m's, right? 3m equals 180 degrees. Divide by 3, divide by 3. M equals 60 degrees. And if you notice, 60, 60, 60, 60 plus 60 plus 60 is 180. Makes sense. Number 5, find the angle measures in the isosceles triangle. Again, they all add up to 180. 55 plus n is 180 degrees. N plus n is 2n, right? You guys are so good at equations, this should not be a problem. Minus 55, 2n equals 125. Divide by 2, n should equal 62.5 degrees. Okay. Now, move on to number 6. This one's a little weird. We don't know any of the actual angles, right? 4p, 3p, and 2p all still add up to 180. Four p's plus 3p's plus 2p's is 9p's. Because 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 2 is 9, right? Equals 180. Divide by 9, p equals 20. I'm not done with that yet. I need to figure out what each one is. If p is 20, and let's say here, this is 2 times p, then that's actually 40 degrees, because 2 times 20 is 40, right? Same thing here. 3 times 20 is 60, so that's 60 degrees. Here, 4 times 20 is 80, so that's 80 degrees. And 80 plus 60 is 140, plus 40 is 180. It works, okay? All right. Make sure you bring your notes in for tomorrow.